I mean on Facebook.
Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh,
There it goes.
it's on. Okay. There, we've been on for 2 minutes.
Yeah, I told you we were on.
Wow. I didn't know that. Hi, everybody. Let's see. I'm going to get myself connected here too. Of course, one of the main things that we are going to be talking about today is Brett Kavanaugh. One. Are we getting feedback?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
we're
okay.
good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say one of the main things that we're talking about is Brett Kavanaugh today. We want this man confirmed. We want him confirmed as soon as possible. Someone did a post that I really enjoyed so much that we shared it on our Facebook page, and it was saying a dream come true would be Justice Clarence Thomas holding the Bible, swearing in a new Justice Brett Kavanaugh. We've been through this, enough. We understand politics and we understand that, there's a certain way that President Trump and the Republican senators have to handle things in order to be PC. But, at this point, we've had enough because Daniel called it. I don't know if, many of you guys have been on our Facebook really, but he said a long time ago that the only thing that the Democrats were doing was delaying, trying to buy themselves more time to come up with another scandal and another scandal and another scandal. And like my husband has said, as soon as these people win or, are appointed to these positions or all of that stuff is over with, these accusers disappear. They're just gone. They're not like your Bill Clinton accusers. These are folks that have obviously been paid. The last count, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong. So the last count that I saw, this woman had raised about 700 and something $1,000, or someone had raised it on her behalf in GoFundMe's and on a GoFundMe page. And it's just ridiculous to me. Where do they think that money's going to go? What are they going to do with that money? In more of the research that I did, I found out that even her lie detector test that they've put so much stock in showed that she never named Judge Kavanaugh as the actual person that had attacked her when she did the polygraph. She just stated that she had been attacked, which is why a lot of the senators and people are saying that, she was a credible witness. They say that they believe that something happened to her, just not the way that she's fully telling it. And so, they had to go ahead on and allow the FBI probe or whatever, give it another week. President Trump went ahead and backed that after Senator Flake flaked on us again and said that he was going to insist that another FBI investigation be done, which I don't know if you guys watch a lot, like we watch Hannity. At times we watch Tucker Carlson. They had clips from Joe Biden back when, actually, I think I was in high school at the time, when Clarence Thomas was being questioned and everything. Joe Biden was saying at that time, what is an FBI probe? What is the point in having an FBI probe? All that they're doing is just collecting information about these people. So when it benefits Democrats, again, as usual, they make sure to say that something is not necessary. But when it is for real justice and it is real, then is something totally different. Their double standard comes out, and it's so disgusting, in my opinion. At any rate, I was trying to see, I was hoping to see the comments and stuff. Oh, thank you, Sherry. I was hoping to be able to see
Yeah, for some reason when I went to reply to hers, it switched our whole thing up.
our screen.
Yeah,
Okay.
and made it so I can't really. I don't even understand why it did that like that.
So anyway, we already had seen a little bit of it. We knew a little bit that, they were going to be trying to bring out more accusers, more stories, and things like that, telling folks coming out, oh, I was attacked, and so on and so on. We've seen it time and time again. This is nothing new, nothing different at all. And I think that the longer that this is drawn out, the more that we're going to see coming out, the more we're going to see the same old. More people are going to come out and say, this happened to me and that happened to me. Same thing as what happened with President Trump. He said it plainly. He was lied on. He had all of these people making all these accusations against him. And now what's happening is Brett Kavanaugh is being persecuted because President Trump won an election fair and square. And that's the bottom line, in my opinion. I mean, what do you think, honey?
That's exactly what it is. We know what it's about though. It's about their agenda that they want to push, which is the homosexual agenda, and the abortion agenda, which is, basically murder of babies. And so it's not about that. I'm looking at some of our friends, and I saw this happening during the 2016 election. Is that what they do? Is they put out information and a bunch of stuff and hit and hit and hit and hit there until they can get a hit, and they pull some of us off by planting all these seeds, and then some people fall for it. If you feel yourself feeling doubt and you need some clarification, please join us. Or if you see somebody that needs some clarification, tell them, here, join this channel and, ask a question. If we see it, we'll answer it and try to make sure that there's an understanding. Because I had to bring a bunch of people back on when they'll be doubting Trump because they came with a bunch of stuff over and over, and then eventually something's gonna stick to where you're like, well, maybe, and it's enough to put doubt in your mind, and it's like a giant court case, which all you need is reasonable doubt, but it's reversed because all you need is reasonable doubt for a guilty verdict instead of an innocent verdict. So, they're just hitting Kavanaugh with as much stuff as they can until something will stick because they want to get him out. They said, I mean, it doesn't even matter. I don't know why this dude Flake. I mean, his name's Flake. He's obviously a snowflake. I don't know why he would sit up and say that he, wants to do an FBI investigation, which they know means nothing. That's just the same thing they're doing already, which is ask the questions. Like that, really, the senators can do more than the FBI in this type of situation because they're just asking questions and then they give the report. That's the same thing. They're asking questions and they ask those questions. So it's just bringing around the rosy, and it's all going to come back to the same thing. They're not going to switch their vote. They said before it started, they said, okay, we're not going, before they even knew if Kavanaugh was the nominee, they said, we're not going to vote for him.
Or
Period.
anyone, or any
anyone.
of the nominees.
Anyone. So if they've already said that, Flake knew, okay, even if nothing comes up with the FBI stuff or whatever, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to change their vote. They're
Right.
not. They're not voting for them. They never plan to, and that's their whole mission. And they already have a URL set to attack whoever the next nominee would be, and that's what they do. And so, I've seen some of our friends out just like, well, maybe this and maybe that, and they're trying to believe her. And I understand because there's sympathy for, if a woman is sexually assaulted, or anyone is sexually assaulted, a child, anyone sexually assaulted, that's a horrible thing. And maybe the woman was, and that's how I felt. I said, well, maybe she was sexually assaulted, and so maybe maybe that did happen. Maybe she's confused, and she said, well, no, I'm positive. This woman is a Democratic donor. She's a complete liberal. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, her story has all kind of holes in it.
Yes.
That it doesn't make sense, and for
nobody to corroborate. She has
it's no one to collaborate, and you have to think of it like this. They say, well, she made her claim in 2012, so if that's enough to convince you, you have to look at the fact of what are the Democrats' game plan. They plan ahead. I said this right after the election. I said, look, they're sitting here attacking Trump, and they're not going to stop. I seen it right away. I said, that's their campaign strategy. They're going to attack Trump
for his
for
whole.
4 years,
That's what you said. You
all
did
the
say
way
that.
until 2020, even through these November elections that are coming up, and that's their campaign strategy. They knew 10 years in advance that Brett Kavanaugh could be a nominee because his name was that highly spoke of.
Hmm.
So this, they had plenty of time to plan, just like they had plenty of time to release the information on this woman that was given 30 days ahead. And when the FBI was doing their investigations into make sure there's nothing going on, there's nothing to accuse him of, and they held it. And to that very moment, so it's completely political. If it wasn't, they would have been given that information.
Right.
And I don't know. I haven't fact checked it. I really don't like saying things without fact checking, but the rumor was that the lady she I guess teaches as she a teacher or something
Hmm.
like that
Yeah, she's a
out
professor.
here in California. Um, Dianne Feinstein's husband, I believe, has something to do with that school or something like that. That's what I heard. And I like to fact check, so I don't know if somebody knows if that's a fact or not or whatever. But I mean, that's crazy.
It's
Also true.
really not far fetched because the woman, when you start delving into a lot of these elitist backgrounds, you discover a lot. And usually a lot of them lead right back to Hollywood, a Holly weird. We're right now like we cut the cable cord a long time ago. We don't participate in the television programming anymore. But right now, she's got in her family right now a Disney star that was on Wizards of Waverly Place. That's her niece. So we're talking about very close of kin. Um, her ties with Google, that we all know what's been going on with Google now as far as their liberalism. So I wouldn't, you haven't fact checked it, but I wouldn't say that any of it is far fetched. When you start looking into these folks' backgrounds, when in 2016, we haven't let go of Pizzagate. Podesta. We know that there were a lot of factual things surrounding the type things that these folks do. And a lot of them are, they're in high places. The Bible tells us that there is spiritual wickedness in high places. And that's the bottom line. And, she, number one, sent this to Dianne Feinstein. I was so proud of Lindsey Graham. Oh gosh, it's almost like he took a play out of Donald Trump's playbook and decided, you know what, I'm jumping on the Trump train and I'm fixing to say the truth now. And he has said that he is not going to let go till he finds out how the letter was leaked, the letter that was supposedly sent to Feinstein in July. And he said that he wants to know he's going to investigate the political gain and where money came from, everything. And I really hope that he stands for that. They're putting this man with his family. I cannot imagine what his wife is going through. This judge has got young daughters. I can't even picture, I could not even imagine the conversation at night between this father, mother, and these children that they're dealing with right now. They are accusing this man of being a rapist, a serial sexual assaulter. And this is husband, this is dad, this is a justice, this is someone that's had a name in the community.
And on Hannity tonight, they just said that a cartoonist was drawing a picture of his daughter praying for her drunk abuser dad and stuff like that. And it's completely evil. And we just have to stay ahead of it and focus on knowing what the facts are. I mean, you have to look at stuff like this when Clarence Thomas, Herman Cain, Trump are getting accused of these things, and these people just disappear. Right after win or lose. I mean, that shows you right there. That's part of their game plan. So I don't know how people can let that put a doubt in their mind and not be backing up Kavanaugh, or at least giving him the benefit of the doubt, which is what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent. So I mean, it's just, to me, it's just really really disrespectful, man. It's
Right.
really disrespectful.
And our prayer is that we have a President Donald Trump. If he stays the course that he's on right now, we're so excited about his presidency. So if he stays the course and we have a President Trump like we pray for, and by 2020 and into 2024, we hope to see another justice, another conservative justice being appointed. What happened to the others? I like the other screen better. I can tell what's going on better.
I know. I'm just trying to keep this up here so you can see the comments.
Oh, okay. And so, with that in mind, what's going to happen next time? What's going to happen if Ruth Bader Ginsburg decides to retire, or God forbid something happened to her? She's old enough now at this point that we don't know what her fate is. What's going to happen the next time that he has to appoint another justice? This has been like the worst that I've seen. Somebody played the old clip of Clarence Thomas when he was going through all of the questioning and the antagonism that he went through, where he let them know, you have ruined my life. And it's the truth to this day. This man is under a cloud that he will never be lifted from under completely. And then you have the flip side of it. You have the women that have accused Bill Clinton of rape, that have hospital reports, pictures, and absolutely nothing has ever happened to this man. I mean, you guys, I don't know what we can do. Every time that I start thinking about these things, I really get like an anger. I believe it's a godly anger inside, because it's not a regular Courtney kind of anger. But I'm like, what can we do? We need to start really joining together. Like I said, Daniel and I have created this. We created the page, California Conservative Group. We created the channel, or my husband created the California Conservative Group channel, because this is what he felt like as a couple, as a conservative couple, that we should do to try to get a voice out there, to try to start saying something about what's going on. And, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, when you go into the voter booth in November, on November the 6th, and I know everyone that we are talking to right now is going to be there. We know you're going to be faithful and you're going to go. We don't have any doubt about that. But make sure that you just go down that ballot and hit red 100% of the way. Go ahead, because I guarantee you that there are going to be people in blue that are going to be definitely hitting blue. They are bold. And like I said before, they are strategic in what they do and everything that they do. This was totally strategic that they have done with Judge Kavanaugh. Don't think that this lady just came out of the woodworks. This was all planned, you guys.
Yeah.
Come on now.
It clearly is planned. Like I said, they planned in advance, just like just having a letter 30 days before, and just like sitting here running a smear campaign against Trump all the way to 2020. That's their campaign. So they do things in advance. So, her saying what came out in 2012 to me has no merit,
But from
and,
what I
and all this is
understand,
coming. What's crazy is I don't think anyone else that ran for SCOTUS has ever just had their high school record being looked at and things like this. I mean, if somebody was a drunk, belligerent, rapist, assaulting women and stuff, they don't just stop doing it forever. Sometime in that 30 years, you'd have been accused of this. In 30 years, man, you have an impeccable record, just like all the witnesses of Jesus Christ rising from the dead. You have multiple people, just a bunch of people basically saying this guy's a good guy. This isn't true.
right.
And so to me, in a court of law, that would make him innocent. And even the lawyer said, with this evidence so far, he say, she say, I wouldn't even present this to a court. I wouldn't even take this to court.
Honey, I have a question for you. In 2012, did she give his name to?
I'm not sure on the facts if she gave his name, and even if she did, like I said, they planned everything ahead. They knew 10 years in advance that he you
could
know,
possibly be
strongly possibly could be a nominee. And not only that, Trump released a list of his long list of what judges he thought. So
that
when
was in
he
2016 though.
yeah, that was
That
in
yeah.
2016. Yeah, and so with that, they could have been planning ahead with that. So 2012, whether if he says or she says his name or not, maybe she didn't say his name, and I don't know, but I have to look at the transcripts of that. But all
Right.
I know is
You know what Kristen Kelly Goss said, watch your vote, make sure it doesn't change. Remember 2016, people's vote was changing while they were casting it. Mark Moisier right now is out in the field and he is going over these voter machines and he's dealing with the voter fraud right now. And it's horrible. We already know that, President Obama, or maybe some of you don't know, there was a clip of President Obama in 2016 encouraging a young Latino lady that even if they were not legal immigrants, they should go out and vote, and telling them that it was their right to do so. I'm going to look up that clip and I'm going to post it to our Facebook page
and
for
people
those who
need to
didn't see
understand
it.
that you know the just like me being a Black American, the Hispanic people are proud, strong, smart people, and they're not dumb.
Right.
So people think that most of them just hate Trump, and it's just not a lot. Just like a lot of liberals, some people are going to fall for a lot of Black people, a lot of Hispanics, a lot of white people are falling for the tricks from the left, but a lot of us are not, and it's a lot of Hispanics that are on their game and they
Right.
know what's going on. They're not stupid.
And love this country.
And Trump today started. He got Canada to join the deal with Mexico. And he wasn't trying to. Yeah, he wasn't trying to toot his horn, but he obviously put something in there where some money went to the wall. And we all want to be safe, regardless. We also want to make sure that children are protected, but we want to make sure that America is protected first, and the children over here and the women over here are protected first, and we can help other countries and other people as much as we can. And Trump, first off, he wants to find a way to give people legal citizenship. That's
Right.
he doesn't want to not do that.
Right.
He just wants to make sure the people that are coming in here are good people. And living in California, I've met a lot of people that are good people that are that went through the process, that legally went through the process. So, and not to get off.
Sylvia, she's like, yes, we are. That's right.
Yeah, and not to get off topic, but the topic of today, we kind of veered off from it because we weren't ready
That's
for the
me.
setup.
I always do
So
that.
right now we're shooting from the hip, but we're talking about something that's really on our hearts, and I know it's on the hearts of America right now, especially if you're a Christian, you're a follower of the one and true living God, which is Jesus Christ. Is we want to get Kavanaugh in there, and I know being politically correct and saying, well, this it's not about getting rid of Roe versus Wade or whatever, and
Yes, it is.
but it is. It's 100% about saving babies from getting murdered. And I know a lot of women did, and they trick them into thinking that it's about this here, which is it's about the woman's body and not about the baby. And they do the same thing with the homosexual stuff, which they're the problem with it. We don't hate homosexual people, but we know that it's wrong, and
Right.
we still love them, and they're good people, and we want to introduce them to Christ. And they want to mix it up and try to force it onto our children, is what the left is doing. You putting it in the TV shows, putting it in the cartoons, and doing all that. And then they're saying, well, you're abusing them. They want to make you focus on that we're abusing and bullying them. No one over here is doing that. And that's a seed they put in. And then Christians, because our heart is kind, we're like, well, as soon as you bring up the subject, some Christians are just going to attack. Well, we're not bullying them. We're not doing this, and you shouldn't be doing it. Well, that's not what we're doing. Talking about something or bringing the word of Christ is not bullying. And the word is to hold them accountable for their sins, which is everything. That's adultery, homosexuality, murder of babies. It's not just fornication, not just picking on one sin. So but to the point, it's the same thing with the abortions. They
Right.
start saying, well, it's the woman's body, and they're like, well, yeah, it is the woman's body, and you get confused. They want you to focus on this over here when this is what's really going on. So it's the same thing with the Kavanaugh situation. They want to tell you, this is about a woman was beaten and and basically almost murdered, and her hands were put on her, and she was assaulted. That's not what this is about. That's not what's going on. I don't even believe that happened. And there's no proof. There's he say, she say. That's the bottom line. That's all
Right.
there is right now.
And I want to read this real quick. Kristen Kelly Goss said it's also because Kavanaugh was involved in investigations of Hillary and Bill. Kenneth Starr. I want to look into that. I want to see because I don't know. This is my first time hearing that portion of it.
Yeah, and
So,
I know, man, a lot of people, you might not be spiritual, you might not understand what's going on, but a lot of the stuff going on is really satanic. It's a lot of the stuff that's been going on. If you pick up a Bible and you read it, you'll see that these things, there's nothing new under the sun. This stuff has been going on since way back in those days.
right.
So, the sacrificing of the babies, the adultery and the pedophilia being pushed and made to just be normal, it's just it's the same thing, and it was sacrificed to Malak, and these things were the name Malak was brought up in Hillary's emails. That's a false god, a demon, that they sacrificed baby to Baal and Malak. And that's the same thing they're doing. They're trying to get people into their evil rituals. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. You can look it up. The people were rubbing the blood on themselves, and
Oh gosh,
that's what they're
they're
doing. And
drinking
now,
it
yeah,
now.
and putting it in the food and doing that. And now they did that same thing. They were putting it in Pepsi products. They were putting it in I don't. I guess I don't want to say a bunch of names and stuff. You can look it up yourself. Of course, they'll try to clean it up, but they were doing things like that, and they were putting it in, and they're still putting it in some of your products, putting the baby cells and things in that from the aborted babies. That's the same
They
thing, rubbing
changed.
blood on
I was
yourself.
gonna say they changed that stuff to they changed it to saying that they used a cloned. It was the
I don't care,
ATK
even if it was a clone.
No, I'm just
Don't
saying.
fall for that.
To
It wasn't
test,
clone babies.
I know,
It was
I know, but I'm
aborted
just
babies.
saying. I'm just telling
When you
people
look it
so
up,
they
and,
know
and
what
see, that's what
be said
we're
now
gonna
when they
cover this stuff
investigate it.
probably more in the next video that we do next Monday. But a lot of stuff is what is control of things, who controls things, and all these things are connected. And so Google is connected. This is liberal. And I know you saw stuff coming out saying Google was basically changing things and putting things where when you click, you'll see stuff for Hillary that was good
Hmm.
versus seeing the stuff for Trump, and the Trump stuff will be bad. They control when you type in, you try to look up something, the facts on something, they're going to give you a bunch of liberal false facts instead of giving you what the truth. They're able to control this. This is the
Right,
same thing that Hitler did without technology, but basically verbally controlling the media. You know
right,
what I'm saying?
and what people got
So
the
having them
information.
controlling that, then having Comcast, which controls all your internet and all that, controlling basically that's NBC and MSNBC and all that, and then you have Disney trying to buy Fox probably next year if they already haven't purchased it. I mean, that's a monopoly on every single source of your media. So we'll be covering that in the next video more in depth. But I mean, I'm fired up about this Kavanaugh thing, and I know everybody else is. It's crazy. They need to just get him on in there. They're not going to get the power back. We're not going to let them in. And if you're somewhere else, you need to be sharing this video, getting everybody on board in one place where we can meet, we can talk about these things, and it needs to be a movement. And I know people probably don't realize it, but as a Black American, I know that I have a strong responsibility, and I can reach some other people of color, and people want to hear somebody because they don't understand. You know, why would this Black person be a conservative?
Right,
And so there's a reason, and that's what we're gonna cover in the next video. There's a reason, and that's where they didn't know why did Trump win. We don't understand. I understand as somebody raised in California. My wife is from Louisiana, so she's conservative from the gate. I was raised to be Democratic and to be liberal, and so I understand why they feel how they feel, but they don't understand how how we can feel how we feel. As now I'm a conservative. The reason why I'm a conservative because the policies do not line up, and so when you look at that, and I want to make a video where you can share with them, why we feel the way we feel, because they don't know. They're only getting information from one side that controls everything they can hear. I mean, how would you if you were only listening to that, and that's how you were raised to only listen to this, and then your friends listen to that. So when the conversation is brought up, their view is the same view that was fed to them. That's brainwashing.
Yes.
That's brainwashing. So
That,
we're gonna cover that in the next video. I don't know if you
that's
want to
what it
wrap it
is.
up.
Well, no, well, no, I
You got
do.
something to say?
Yeah, I wanted to
Let them know.
piggyback on what you were saying.
Let them know.
What you were saying, basically, you guys, about, in my opinion, being a part of the Democratic Party, you're on the plantation. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter what race you are, what your skin color is. They have an agenda to keep those that are what they consider beneath them at a certain place and keep themselves at another place. And we sat and we listened. We work hard for everything that we have. My husband works, he's the main breadwinner or whatever. But everything that we have, we've worked hard over the years. We've budgeted, we've saved, we've done things to try to have these things. And we went and sat in and listened to folks talking about how they just wanted to take it. Then we also went and sat in. There are some people,
Yeah, they want to take it and give it to everybody else and just share it. Man,
right?
if I work for some, is mine. I should be in control of myself, not somebody else telling me what to do with my things. And being a Black American from California, I know what the mindset is. Listen to the music, watching the movies, and all that. It's glorified to be over here on these big giant rims, and you're with the dope dealer. He's selling dope, and even if you're watching mob movies and you're white, you know what I'm saying, or you're Black, you're gonna look at a mob movie. You want to be that gangster that has all this money, that's doing all this, and then when
and I like gangster movies.
Yeah, yeah, but once you know reality, you know what you're watching, and you know what's going. What you have to watch what's going in your eye gate. And so what I'm saying is, growing up, I wanted to be that guy, with a lot of money and doing this and this and this. But then when you sit down, and you meet a real billionaire, and you're sitting at a table and you look, and this guy over here is a millionaire, and this guy over here is a billionaire. This is the table. That table where everybody's getting high and drinking and selling dope and pimping or doing whatever they're doing. That's not the table that you want to be at, and taking risks that doesn't amount to anything. This table here where you sit down with people of business that are working and making smart executive decisions. That's you want to be
Kristen.
Yeah, you want to be a business owner. You know what I'm saying? And as a landowner, that's what I'll be. I can look back on friends that I had. I know that they probably in the same place that they were before, and they struggling to get somewhere. And when you take back and you start getting, you take back your life and your mind from what they brought you to believe, and they feed on your kindness, just like they're trying to feed on people's hearts and rape victims right now in the Me Too movement. That's scandalous, man. That's crazy. You're doing the same thing you're doing with the babies. Oh, it's the woman's body. What about the baby? You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, it's her choice if she wants to have a baby. And her choice was when she wanted to lay down and have the baby, conceive the baby. Now the baby needs to be protected. You can't just take a life. It's the same thing you dealing with the homosexuality stuff. Well, let them do whatever you want to. Well, they have a soul. If you care, then you care about their soul.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, they try to play on things, just like Planned Parenthood. I've said this before. If you watched us, Planned Parenthood sounds good. Planned Parenthood. They're not Planned Parenthood, though. That sounds good. That's what they play on. So it's the same thing with the Me Too movement and all that. There's victims that have been really raped, and it's really sick for them to sit up and do that, just like they sat there and they made it so Trump couldn't even talk about the women that were coming over the border being raped when he said that some of the people coming over were rapists and murderers, which was true. He wasn't saying all Mexicans are rapists and murderers and he's a racist now. That's not what he was saying.
Not at all.
And that's a real thing. There's a video on our YouTube on that too. You can sit and watch it where they take the birth control before they cross the border because they know the chances. That's how high the chances are they're going to get raped. That's how high the chances are they're going to get raped. And then they're throwing their panties in the tree and they call it a rape tree, the rape tree. And they, they laugh and celebrate about this. These are real victims, and Trump was bringing this to our attention, just like he brought all the things that he brought to people's attentions. What China was doing with Canada, he was saying people would say that Canada, everything was good with them with the trade. It really wasn't. It was okay a little bit with Canada, but they were basically getting over. I mean, if I'm getting 10% and you're getting, or if I'm getting 10 and you're getting 100 or 1,000, that's not fair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can understand maybe if you're getting more, but I should be getting some. He's in there making better deals, and he basically gave him a deadline for today, and that deadline has came. Yeah, that deadline has came.
I saw a little thing flash up, Trump 2020. That's why
Yeah.
I'm doing that. Trump 2020.
Yeah, and I just, I love my president fighting for Christians, and and I'm just
And the
gonna,
American
state this.
people.
I'm gonna state this. There's people that are liberal, that are Democrats, that are good people. There's some people that are evil, that are Democrats, and they know what they're doing. But there's some people that are good people, that have good hearts, and they're being tricked and used, and they don't know it.
Right.
And so it's up to us, because I believe my belief was, oh, somebody's gay. Well, I'm not going to hang with them. I'm not going to do that. But I'm not going to sit there and attack them. I'm not going to judge them. And they use that as a Christian to mellow us down. And then as I grew more spiritually, I knew, hold on, this is my business, because I have a God. And that's a disrespect to my God. That's a disrespect to their soul.
Right.
That's their soul is in danger. I care about this person. I'm going to let them know. I'm not going to, and it's mental illness also. And so you have people that their suicidal rate is up here. That's what people should be doing. We should be getting more people that can counsel with people dealing with this, instead of letting them, them just be murdering themselves and dying. That's crazy. So these things have to be addressed. And so as you grow spiritually, you start more spiritual and closer to God, you start seeing that these things didn't line up. I was like, wait a minute, a woman's, but what about the baby? I'm not gonna kill my kid so I can live. So what are you saying? You have to look at these things. These things are facts. These things, this is real life. You know what I'm saying? A soul is not something to play with, man. And these people in Hollywood are real devil worshippers, real witches, real wizards, and real warlocks. And you might think, oh, they make the movies with all these things in it so they can dim you down, and it seems normal. And when I bring it up, it's like, oh, this guy might be crazy, or this guy's funny talking, because it's all in these movies that's make believe. Everything on Disney is, do you believe in magic? Everything is magic. Every single movie. The new movie they have coming out, Clock in the Wall, I know it looks so awesome. And the kids want to see it, and they look at it, and it looks so, I looked at it, I was like, man, that really looks like awesome. It's about a warlock, though. Warlock, it's not a play word. That's a male witch. You understand? Hollywood. Hollywood is the wood if that witches will make their wands out of the holly. What is it? The holly tree?
The hollyberry tree.
The hollyberry tree. Yep. That's what they made their wands. Like, this stuff is not a joke, man. The devil is a lie, man. He wants to take as many people with him as he can. And right now we're at the moment a pivotal point where this is a war. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they're doing all these stops. That's why they're doing all these stops. They're pulling out every card. They're trying to stop this guy from getting in, because they need to keep the sacrificing of the babies going. They want to do the homosexual stuff even more. They got the kids. They're giving kids
and
to
more so
people to molest.
And the androgyny, just completely, a whole genderless world, which of course is the demons. That's spiritually so.
Look up Baphomet. He's sitting there. The Baphomet is not a woman or a man. It's both. That's a demon. It's horrible. And a lot of the people, they're victims. These people are victims, and they're playing on them. Just like they're playing on them, because you got to look at it like this. They have, like I said, they have mental health and things like that, and they're playing on that and just telling them, well, that's okay. I'm not going to give a meth addict a ride to go get meth and overdose.
I was going to say too, honey, because you posted it the other day, President Trump, understanding that President Trump spent time amongst these people. And during his
Exactly.
campaign, he made a very clear divide and declaration that Daniel and I took note of immediately. And now he has now stood before the New World Order. Don't just call it the UN, the United Nations. When you go into the book of Revelations and you start reading about the beast and the 10 horns and all these things, understand that we had a big 10, we had a big 8, all of these major nations and stuff. Understand that when he took a stand and he said, we are not going for a one world government, when he said, I am the president of the United States, not the world, not all of this globalism and stuff, he knew what he was dealing with. And this is really a scary place. Daniel and I both said we have to cover him in prayer now
Yeah.
because he has once again, just like he did in 2016, he has stood before the beast and said, I don't care. I'm going to stand for the United States of America. This is about patriotism. This is about our country. This is not about the rest of the world at this point in time. And you guys, the Lord said that we had to be the head and not the tail. Please understand also that when he strategically went in and did what so many other presidents lied and said that they were going to do and made Jerusalem the capital of Israel, that was very spiritual. We are a friend of Israel. Like I said, before, God is not a man that he should lie. He made a promise to Israel that those that bless Israel, he would bless also. So, in the spiritual realm, our president has set our country up to be in a very blessed place. So, all of the things we're seeing with our beautiful economy that we're enjoying right now, with the great wave of patriotism that is occurring right now, this is all spiritual. It's not just natural. And we have a lot of friends that sometimes we know that they're not looking at it that way. In school
Yeah.
or whatever, I was involved in a lot of clubs and stuff. And they look at the Republican Party like a club. That's not what we are. Our party is a party that is trying to make changes back for the better. And I heard someone say, what do they mean when they say make America great again? And actually, I was even questioned about it. And I was just talking to a coworker today about it. What I mean when I say make America great again, and actually now keep America great, is that we did not have a middle class for so long, you guys. It was either you were way up here and you were one of those one percenters, or you were at the bottom on food stamps. That is where we were before President Trump took office. So he has brought back a strong middle class. He has brought back this nation that now we're thriving with blue collar workers again, folks that can get out there and folks that want to get out there and work hard and build things. That is the great America that he has created again. And I love it. And that is what I wanted. And just seeing it unfold before my eyes, I'm so excited.
Yeah, and we know that he's not perfect.
No, we know that.
And some people will be like, oh, you're acting like he's God. God is Jesus Christ.
Right.
But he also elects all leaders
Right.
and all our leaders, everyone for a reason. Even Obama's reason for being elected was so that we will wake up and
Yes.
see what's going on, because what he did, stuff he did was pure evil. So, we had to wake up. But I wanted to read this because what I was going to say is that, like she was saying, we saw that Trump was going against the New World Order. And he was saying things. It was crazy. He was talking about things. He was pointing out things people didn't really know about oil companies and different things. And he was saying, I used to run with these people. I saw what was going on, and I wanted to just get rid of. If you look at the video I made for Trump, he was saying when he was giving a speech when he was going to be running, he was saying, man, this is one of the things. Maybe it's the only way I can, I'll be able to get in heaven. He wanted to make up for things that he had been a part of and witnessed. And he to this day he says, I've seen people, these same people trying to say this guy did. He said they're doing it. He said still people right now getting away with stuff that I've seen. It's things he's in the background. What they see, these evil things that these people be doing. There's people that witness it. They might not partake in it, but they're seeing it, and they're like, "Oh, that's crazy." But I'm making all this money, and they just put up with it. But then when they come to, it's a time when you come to and question, am I going to go to hell? Some of these people are just like, well, I'm just going to go with the devil, and they believe maybe the devil's going to win. We know that the devil already lost.
Yeah.
But I was going to read this what he was saying when he was in front of the UN, and he said we will never surrender American sovereignty to an unelected, unaccountable global bureaucracy. America is governed by Americans, he said. We reject the ideology of globalism, and we embrace the doctrine of patriotism. So he told them right then and there, we're not going to be ran by one world order. It's not happening. And he's shutting all that down, and he's making our country able to be able to take care of themselves with not
Right.
having to be a part or being held prisoner to a one world thing. Now, Obama is also trying to be a part of. And I know it's hard for a lot of Black Americans and even Hispanics to just, to be like, well, this guy did bad things. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't care how mad anyone gets. You cannot be a Democrat and be a Christian. Now you could be a Christian that's confused, but you're not listening to the Spirit, and you can't serve both. You can't serve the devil and you can't serve God, and so there's no way you, as a Democrat, you're saying I support homosexuality, I support abortion. And believe it or not, what's coming next is the pedophilia. I called it back then. I see people saying they called this. I was saying this way back. That was the next thing, and so is my wife. We both were saying the next thing is the pedophilia. It's if you watch the shows, it's in there. The little kids will do something. A little kid peeing on an adult, or a little kid falling in adults will laugh, or this, or a little kid seeing somebody naked, or a little kid kissing and doing this and that. And that's pedophilia.
And the little boy, the little Desmond is amazing. They have him dressed up in drag.
Yeah, let's not even mention him. They'll shut our whole.
Oh yeah, that's
down,
what
man.
they did to Alex Jones.
That's why Alex Jones off. For him sharing that they already took our video down, and then Facebook took it down, so that's against their policy, talking about this situation, and then they suggested it to us as a memory because we had already posted it a couple years ago. So how you gonna take it down when we repost something and then give it to us as a memory? Hey, share this. You want to share this?
And I sure did share it. As soon as they suggested it to us again,
it's really satanic, man. And if you don't play ball and you start showing that you're trying to separate yourself from any of this stuff, that's when they turn on you. And Trump was just fine when he was rolling with them.
Hi, Sherry.
And Kanye, is good that he's doing what he's doing. I don't fully trust it. At any moment, he can just turn into whatever. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing what he's doing. And I pray for him for that. And I pray that he really comes all the way over. He can't, I don't want him to alienate his stepdad or whatever you would call Bruce Jenner. But definitely, that situation isn't right. I don't want to, I'm not judging anybody, but at the same time,
Hi, First Lady.
That's not what it's about. You know what I'm saying? There's scriptures on these things, and if you look into it, you got to hold accountable for your sin. That's not the same thing as judge when you're saying judging somebody. That has to do with, if you just see somebody and they're throwing trash on the ground, well, you probably did something. Two, you have to take care of your first thing. You have to address that you have a problem and hold yourself accountable. Then you hold your friend that accuses you or that's wronged you. You hold them accountable. And you do it with a witness. And you let them know this is wrong. You don't just let somebody's whole soul and whole body go to hell, because that's what the devil wants. The devil, the only hell that he's in right now is the absence of God. He's not in that fire burning forever yet, but he will go there, and he wants to take as many of us with him as he can. So don't let that happen to you. And that's what they're doing right now. They're trying to get that done, and we're going to get Kavanaugh in there, hopefully.
Quickly. Sooner than later.
Yeah, because they held that information to the end so that it wouldn't be enough time to elect somebody else before the midterms, because they're betting on that they'll win in the midterms. They're planning on cheating. There's going to be dead people
Vote.
voting and everything. So
Well, yeah, it's always going to be dead people voting. It's always going to be illegal aliens voting. That's just a part of what it is. But we still want to make sure that everybody, especially here in California, let your voice be heard. I've said it before. People were asking me, what they could do to help or whatever with California. The last time that we had a video, they're like, what can we do? I'm like, if you're in an area that is reliably red and it's going to be red, give some dollars over this way. We need it over this way. Donate. We've got a lot of great candidates on the ballot. We're pushing John Cox. We really want to see him get in there as our governor. He's on tour right now. We've got to mention Mark Moisier. I don't want to brutalize his name. I want to get it right. Konstantinos. I'm looking for you to help me, Daniel.
I'm not good with names. I'm better with faces.
Oh,
the name I'm concentrating on right now is John Cox, because I know in that governor position, the power that we can switch, and we got to get rid of these people that are on our side that aren't supposed to be there, that have infiltrated, because that was their plan. If Hillary won, they were infiltrating the Republican side. They have people over on our side now trying to say, well, we're for abortion, we're for homosexual. You can't be a conservative or a Republican or a Christian and be for homosexuality, abortion, and all these things. You can't do it. And so they were trying to infiltrate both sides. So then you have no side voting. It's like, well, I might as well not vote. And then the sides that are voting are voting for whatever side is pushing the same one agenda.
Right.
And that's the enemy's agenda.
And you guys, I had a conversation with someone that was a friend of ours on Facebook, and he was, questioning me and stuff. He was asking me, why did I feel like homosexuality was wrong? He was saying he was a Christian and so on and so on. And I told him, I said, you know what? I said, every single day I have a cross to bear. And there are things that I have to do in order to be right before God, because I will be held accountable. I cannot work my way into heaven. This is where people get confused. There's a balance. But faith without works is dead also. We trying to fight against our flesh and what our flesh wants to do, it is a war, and it does show our faith, and it is what God expects of us. And so I asked him the question, and he just completely stopped talking to me. I said to him, why do you think it's fair for you to be able to do whatever you want to do, but I can't? Why do I have to work so hard at my Christianity, but just because you're homosexual or whatever, and you're saying that you're a Christian, that you are able to do whatever you want? It's just not the case. We serve a very fair God, Say they are for these agendas. Most of them, when you start talking to Christians and you start really going into the Bible, if they are, warming up, because you have some lukewarm Christians. Trying to see who was that made that comment, Sherry. So you have some that are lukewarm Christians. In other words, they're not on fire for God yet, and they're not at that place yet. Most of them, when you start going into the scripture with them, and then especially in Romans 1, because I believe it's Romans 1, that in the end, the Lord says it's not just about those that are doing these things, but it's also about those that take pleasure in them that are doing these things. So we have to be very, very careful. Like my husband said, we're very delicate when dealing with homosexuals and stuff, because right now that is one of the main things that they're pushing and trying to normalize.
Yeah, and we're not trying to just be like, oh, we're trying to just attack on this one thing.
Right.
Like we said, it's all the sins are equal, and you are offending God.
Right.
But all the damage that each sin does to other people is not the same. If I tell a lie, it can harm people, but it might not harm you to this. If I steal this bag of chips, it might not harm to this or that. It might not harm that many people like that. But if I'm to be cheating on my wife and then she's, that harms my children. And if she was to cheat on me, that harms my children, that harms her, and then she could go out and do something, or I could go out and do something in revenge, and then then we're both condemning ourselves and basically in sin. And if you're pushing homosexuality on other people and children, and you're trying to put men in the bathroom with our daughters, with our moms,
that
with
made him mad.
with our wives, our sisters. That's wrong. You're doing something to affect others. When I turn on any DC, because I'm a DC and a Marvel fan, Superman and Iron Man and stuff like that, and I turn this on, and you're putting homosexual stuff in every single series. I start saying, well, we're gonna get rid of cable. I'll go on one of these sites and watch all these things for free if I want to, and skip these episodes and stuff that have that in it. But I'm not going to be giving views and things to things that are wrong. You know what I'm saying? So whether or either I'm just not going to watch it at all. And I'm saying that to say that you don't have to watch these things. You don't have to give views to these things because and I know they'll say, well, we're being liberal because you're just trying to boycott all these things. They're boycotting our stuff, and we need to be. You have to stand up. This is a war, so you have you there's some things you're gonna have to go away from. And I'm not saying if somebody offers you something, you're like, well, I'm not gonna take this. Well, you didn't pay for that, but don't go spending your money somewhere and watching things that is promoting that. If you're sitting there, you watch this instead of watching that. So you go and you watching this show, they're gonna do more of that because they're making money off that. So no matter what, it hits their pockets, and so you have to hit them where it hurts. And we have to get together. It's not about black or being white. It's about getting people to the Lord and everybody coming together on one side. So we have to shift out these people that have been infiltrating in on the side that's for the Christian people. The Democrats aren't for the Christian people. You know what I'm saying? They're not for the poor. They say that and they use that to draw people in and to misuse things. The Me Too movement, using this woman to be against Kavanaugh, that's all manipulation and using the kindness of people. That's why there's some Democrats, like I said, that have kind hearts that are being used. There's some that know what's going on. They're just evil and in their sin. You know what I'm saying? And we're all sinners. We all sin. I mean, and so you're going. But if okay, I'm not supposed to do this. I'm sorry for this. You need to repent for it. Not saying, well, you know what, I want to do this, and I'm just gonna do it, and it's my business, and no one else can tell me this and that. Well, yeah, you can do that, but if I see you doing it and I don't say nothing, and I'm letting you go to hell and be in that, I'm not saying I'm just gonna come and berate you and harass you and tell you what you're doing. No,
Good night,
what you're
First
doing
Lady.
is wrong, and then it's wrong.
Okay,
You know.
I wanted to correct. I just looked it up. It's rhoditis. Constantino's rhoditis. Anyway, wanted to name drop, especially here in California. I'm going to be posting a list of those that we're going to be voting for here in our area. And hopefully everybody will pay close attention and use it. So it's 7:32 now. We've been on here for a while now.
Yeah, we've been on for a while.
We missed last week. We weren't here last week, so we kind of wanted to make up for it. So, and the week before that, our YouTube thing messed up, but Daniel got it all working now. And so,
and so if you're not on our YouTube, please go over and subscribe to our YouTube because we need that support.
And comment. Go in there and join the conversation. We've got folks in there talking. We do not delete the negative comments. We leave them there. We let the other folks talk to them. We don't even comment on them, really. If it's negative, we just overlook it. I haven't even commented. I don't think that I've replied to one. I don't know if you have, honey. Because we want the dialogue. We want it. So anyway, we done?
Yeah. So you guys have a blessed night.
God bless.
And join us 7 o'clock next week. We're gonna do it at 7.
7 o'clock next month.